Hi, welcome to another recording from the D-Team. This evening we have myself, Grant, we have got Stephanie, Ken and two new readers, Callum and Grace, along with us this evening. So I'll start with Residents Against Location of New Special Needs School on Village's Only Public Park. School Site Protest, and this is a story by Neil McGrory. Waterside residents staged protests outside East Dunbartonshire Council's headquarters on the evening members finalised a decision to build a special needs school in the village. During a meeting of the full council on Thursday, November 15th, members confirmed their decision to build a new special school in the village as a replacement for Campsie View and Merkland schools, which are earmarked for closure. Residents watched from the public gallery after protesting against the decision, as the site is on the village's only park, which also contains a high-quality grass football pitch. Save our park was their chant of choice. One villager commented, "If we lose this park, we will have nothing left. It is our only open area. We have a really good football pitch, which is used by two local clubs, and they might have to shut down if this goes ahead." Several Waterside residents also said that although they are strongly opposed to the choice of site, they are in favour of building a new school. It was clear which way the councillors would vote. If they failed to approve the site, the entire school project would be derailed, coming under a 5-year moratorium. Waterside is part of Ward 7, Kirkintilloch East and North and Twecker, and area representatives Stuart MacDonald, Labour, and John Jameson, SNP, both spoke against the decision, calling for an extension to find another location. Councillor MacDonald claimed members had not been told about the moratorium on holding another school consultation when they voted in March, and spoke about the fears of Waterside residents, which included loss of village identity and green space. The football pitch is a valued local amenity, which was recently upgraded to an excellent standard at the council's expense. Councillor Jameson said, "This is the most undemocratic process for a major project I have seen in my 11 years as a councillor." After the meeting, Joint Council Leader Vaughan Moody said, "In March this year, we agreed to carry out a consultation to improve support for children with additional support needs in East Dunbartonshire, and to replace Campsie View School and Merkland School with a new build specialist school to meet our future needs. Tonight, Council considered the consultation report and agreed to proceed with the proposal, so we will now forward our report to the Scottish Government for consideration." Consultation documents was sent out to more than 400 stakeholders, and 5 public meetings were also held, including in Waterside, and pupils in both Merkland and Campsie View schools were asked for their views. Joint Council Leader Andrew Polson added, "Responses from our school communities were overwhelmingly in support of the proposal, with comments emphasising the need for a new school to fully meet the needs of our area. Whilst concerns have been raised about the impact of the proposed new school in the Waterside community, we are committed to ensuring that the impact will be positive, and the new school and wider development of the Waterside site will provide additional facilities for the community to access." Education Scotland reviewed the consultation process and found the council's behaviour was appropriate. Their full report is available on the East Dunbartonshire Council website. Scottish ministers now have 2 months to decide whether to call in the Council's decision for review. The Scottish Government will accept the representations from the public during the first 3 weeks of this period. And there's a picture of Waterside residents outside Council HQ on Thursday night protesting, all of them holding banners with slogans like "Save our green space, no school on our open space," and they all look quite frustrated at the development.
Hi, and it's Stephanie. Bishop Briggs' Green Space campaign groups fears over pollution. Knotweed concerns at Carla Home site. And this article is written by Liz Gallagher. pollution fears have been raised by a campaign group after an invasive plant was discovered on a Bishopbriggs site where 135 homes are due to be built. Japanese knotweed, which is notoriously difficult to eradicate, has been found at the Cala Homes site at Jelly Hill, Meadowburn. Cala won an appeal to build here earlier this year despite fierce opposition by local people, councillors and MSPs. Save Bishopbriggs Canal Green Space Group, which has been at the forefront of the protest against the development, has raised pollution fears. A spokesperson for the local campaign group said it appears that some Japanese knotweed has been treated with chemicals, as you can see all the remaining stalks, but it hasn't actually killed it off in the treated areas. The treatment is concerning because it's in a public place directly at the burn. Chemicals to treat this plant are known to be carcinogenic, and children and animals use the area. A study by Swansea University in April this year, reported by the BBC, found non-native Japanese knotweed must be controlled and managed, as it cannot be completely eradicated in the short term. The Herald contacted Cala and East Dunbartonshire Council. Council boss Thomas Glenn said, "One of the planning conditions for this site requires the submission of a method statement for the removal of Japanese knotweed within the site. This should be carried out by a suitably qualified organisation and would need to include appropriate removal methods for the location, as certain methods are not appropriate near watercourses. The Council's planning service will work with the developer to ensure all conditions are met in full, to minimise disruption to local residents prior to, during and post-construction, and ensure they deliver all of the positive community benefits secured through the Section 75 legal agreement." A spokesperson from Cala Homes West said, "Cala Homes has liaised closely with East Dunbartonshire Council to agree the specifics of planned site enabling works, noting that these require to be completed prior to a construction start on site. All of these pre-agreed works, directed by Cala, are being completed by approved and accredited companies who are required to work to rigorous health and safety standards." Meanwhile, local Green MSP boss Ross Greer said, "The news that Japanese knotweed is posing a problem on the site should come as a surprise to nobody. There were strong and well-evidenced warnings in many of the record-breaking number of objections." Now I have the intimations. Deaths. Graham, Donald. Peacefully at Glasgow Royal Infirmary on Sunday, November the 18th, 2018. Donald, beloved husband of Jean, much-loved dad of Fiona, devoted grandpa of Melissa and Josh, and great-grandpa of Harley and Nova. For funeral arrangements, please contact J&D Lawson Limited, Funeral Directors, on 0141 776 2242. Acknowledgements. Fiddis, Douglas. Irene and family would like to thank relatives, friends and neighbours for their kind expressions of sympathy, cards of condolence and generous donations to the Stroke Association Scotland, following the sad loss of Douglas. Also thank you to J.D. Lawson Funeral Services for their support and guidance. Kennedy, Robert. The family of the late Robert Kennedy would like to express their sincerest thanks for the care, attention and kindness given to Robert and his family. Glasgow Royal Infirmary, Campsie View Care Home, Co-op Funeral Care, Father Hannah and parishioners of St Ninians and dear friends of the family. A donation of £300 was collected for Alzheimer's Scotland. Legg, George. The family of the late George wish to acknowledge the many expressions of sympathy and gestures of kindness shown to them following the recent sad and difficult time of George's passing, and offer our heartfelt thanks to all who provided emotional and practical support in any way. A special word of thanks to all who attended the service, sent cards or message of condolence, offered masses, tendered food, flowers or made donations to charity in George's memory. Colleagues and staff at PD Hook for their immediate intervention and action, plus travelling to attend the funeral. Celebrant David Smith of the Humanist Society Scotland for a beautiful service and comforting words. Staff at Glazer Country House Hotel for their excellent catering services. Campsie Local History Group for their continued support. J&D Lawson Funeral Limited, funeral directors for sensitive and professional handling of arrangements. Concert to commemorate the end of World War I. Armistice event starts new season, and this article is by senior reporter John A. McInnes. Music Cooperative Scotland and St Cyprian's Church in Lenzie launched this year's season recently. The initial musical evening was an Armistice Centenary concert in conjunction with Scottish veterans charity Bravehound. In an exciting development, the concert featured the bugle which Wilfred Owen took from a dead German soldier during the war, referring to it as lute in a letter to his brother in 1917. Owen, who died on November 4th, 1918, was fatally wounded during the battle to cross the Sambre-Oise Canal just 7 days before peace was declared. It is currently in the care of the Wilfred Owen Association and was played in France on Sunday, November 4th, at his graveside in Ours, to mark the anniversary of his death. The concert featured popular songs and poetry from the period, plus string music written during these years by Elgar Brieg and Cecil Coles. The evening featured mezzo-soprano Fiona MacDonald, baritone Stephen Foy, and mac-opera strings. The next concert in the season will be on December the 8th and will feature Eriska, the Glasgow-based folk band with accordion player Eileen Sweeney. Eriska draws upon members' disparate backgrounds and combine rock, jazz and folk styles to create a unique sound, using both traditional tunes and band members' original compositions. With musicians from Argentina, the USA and Scotland, they blend many musical traditions. And there's a great photo with Grace Freeman, who comes from the Wilfred Owen Association, holding that infamous bugle from the war poet taken from the dead German soldier.
Hello folks, this is Grace. The story is about the plea to council leaders over inequality of library closures. The heading is "The Library Body Urges Council to Scrap Cuts," and it's by Neil McGrory. A professional body for librarians has written to Eastern Bartonshire Council criticising plans to close 3 public libraries in the authority area. Sean McNamara, Acting Director of the Chartered Institute of Library and Information Professionals in Scotland, wrote to council leaders Andrew Paulson and Vaughan Moody after proposals to close libraries in Milton of Campsie, Lennoxtown, Westerton and Bearsden were revealed. He said, "We understand this is only a recommendation at this stage, but I would like to raise our concerns and urge you not to take this option forward. We believe this may affect the local community's ability to access the adequate public library service as required by the Local Government Act. Libraries are visited by more people than attend the cinema and professional football matches and offer an incredible return on investment. A public library service makes an important contribution to national outcomes, such as reducing inequality and improving literacy, as well as providing a positive experience for local people and demonstrating the value of a local authority place on its community. Libraries tackle social isolation and support mental health and well-being as evidenced by the Scottish Government. Libraries also play a key role in supporting the current digital strategies in Scotland and across the UK by providing free access for people unable to get online at home. Evidence from Carnegie UK shows that online access drivers substantial social and economical benefits to citizens and communities, including improved educational attachment, better job prospects, better access to public services, cheaper goods and products, access to advice, information and knowledge, improved communication improved communication with family and friends, and enhanced democratic and civic participation. Libraries are also vital to improving literacy in Scotland. Studies have shown that around a quarter of Scotland's adults have issues with literacy, and libraries tackle this by providing adult learning and promoting access to reading at a community level. We believe these closures would severely damage the ability to meet community needs, and this may also disadvantage vulnerable groups. We would strongly suggest that an equalities impact assessment should be carried out if it has not been done already. Mr. McNamara closed his letter with a series of questions. The Institute wants the Council to explain its financial justification for shutting 40% of its library provision, usage statistics for the threatened librarians compared to others in the area, to confirm any public consultation and if the impact of these closures has been assessed. East Dunbartonshire Leisure Trust is a council-owned body which operates cultural services, including libraries. Its board voted for the closures as part of a cost-saving effort. The next story is about community. Lenzie woman stars in M&S Christmas television advert. A Lenzie woman has found fame of sorts following her starring role in a national retailer's 2018 Christmas TV ad. M&S travelled the length and breadth of the UK to find real people to star in the campaign and talk about their M&S food favourites and why they make Christmas extra special. Lisa Gilt 40 from Lenzie applied to take part and said she was surprised when the answer came back as a yes. She has a line, "I can't pick favourites. It's like picking your favourite child." The ads encourage the nation to join the conversation and share their Christmas food favourites using the hashtag of MyMarketFave. In total, the ad series features over 60 customers and colleagues and will run till the end of the year.
Hi, this is Callum, and this article is from East Dunbartonshire. Council is appealing to residents to be prepared for the cold months ahead, and it's headlined "Get Set for Winter Roadshows," and it's an article by Liz Gallagher. Winter is coming, and East Dunbartonshire Council is once again urging residents not to get caught out by severe weather, either at home or on the move. Aligned to the national Ready Scotland campaign, the Council and its partners have arranged a series of information roadshows. They say this is to make sure people are fully prepared and have all the information they will need to cope during extreme or prolonged winter weather. The roadshows will run from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. at Mulgai Precinct on Friday, November the 30th, and at Ballybank, Kirkintilloch on Thursday, November the 22nd. Police Scotland, Scottish Fire and Rescue Service, the East Dunbartonshire Health and Social Care Partnership, and council departments including Housing, Roads and Community Safety will be on hand at the events to offer advice and reassurance. Joint Council Leader, Councillor Andrew Paulson, said, "We obviously hope there is no repeat of the severe winter weather we experienced last year, but it's always better to be prepared and take a few practical steps to make sure you're not caught out. Our roadshows are a great opportunity to find out what we will be doing to keep our residents and visitors safe. We'll be offering practical advice on what we can all do to stay safe while out and about or driving, and how to prepare our homes for sudden bad weather." Joint Council Leader, Councillor Vaughan Moody, added, "Temperatures have already started to drop and our gritting teams have already been out in recent weeks. We will prioritise keeping main roads clear and safe when temperatures drop, and we'll post updates about bad weather and gritting programmes on our website and social media channels." The Ready Scotland website also has lots of advice about how to prepare for poor winter weather, and what to do if you're affected by events such as power cuts or flooding. Have a look at http://www.readyscotland.org. Independent Councillor Duncan Cumming recently called on the Council to engage further with residents in a proper, detailed and meaningful consultation process. He added, "I have also advocated extra grit support supplies should be available in Bearsden and Mulgai, not just Kirkintilloch, which would mean a 20-mile round trip." This article is accompanied by a photograph of the beast from the east, which caused havoc in East Dunbartonshire and beyond last year, showing buildings under a heavy snow.
Guests, hosts and volunteers are all invited to our tea party. Contact the Elderly hosts a monthly afternoon tea party in East Dunbartonshire. It is hoped more people will come forward to help local elderly people. And this feature is written by Liz Gallagher. While many people are looking forward to the festive season, others are dreading spending the winter alone. It can be a long and lonely time for elderly people who live by themselves. But one East Dunbartonshire charity is doing all it can to help those who are trapped indoors this winter feel less isolated. Contact the Elderly invites older people to be their guest at local Sunday afternoon tea parties. The charity arranges the free monthly gatherings and is looking for potential new members to join, particularly from Bearsden and Mulgai. The charity is also keen to hear from volunteers who can support its vital work as drivers and hosts. Drivers collect guests from their home and accompany them to a tea party in a local host's home where they can enjoy tea, cake and conversation for a couple of hours in a small, friendly group. Angela Ray Murray, Contact the Elderly's Area Support Officer, said, "We have a lovely core team of local volunteers, but we'd like to welcome more people to join the party. We would love to hear from older people themselves or from anyone who knows someone they think would enjoy an afternoon out with us. We'd also be delighted to hear from more locals willing to open their home or business by hosting a party. Life can sometimes be very lonely for older people, particularly during the winter when it can be more difficult to get out and about. But our drivers chauffeur them door to door, giving them peace of mind and then a bit more confidence they might need to socialise with new people. We know just how much our regular guests and hosts look forward to catching up, and we hope to share that with some new friends. The difference a little company and a change of scenery can make is really amazing. There are approximately 130 Contact the Elderly groups across Scotland." Janice Kerr, the charity's development officer, said, "There is what has been described as an epidemic of loneliness in Scotland, and lack of social contact can be particularly acute among the older generation, especially if they have mobility or transport difficulties. Social isolation can also have an impact on physical and mental well-being, but the benefits of little kindness and some company can be far-reaching. If we can get enough volunteers, hosts and drivers to come forward, we know we can make a huge difference to the lives of some lonely older people. It only takes a few hours a month, but the results can be hugely gratifying for both our guests and volunteers. I am confident that the community in East Dunbartonshire will step forward to help." Contact the Elderly is among an unprecedented number of leading charities and organisations which came together last month to call on First Minister Nicola Sturgeon to lead from the front and ensure that Scotland becomes the world leader in tackling loneliness and isolation. The new Action Group on Isolation and Loneliness in Scotland, that's AGIL, is made up of Age Scotland, Befriending Networks, British Red Cross, Campaign to End Loneliness, Chest, Heart and Stroke Scotland, Community Transport, Contact the Elderly, Eden Project Communities, Health in Mind, Royal Blind and Scottish War Blinded. They are all working to tackle loneliness and social isolation across Scotland. It is 3 years since the Scottish Parliament's Equalities Committee report called on the Scottish Government to develop a loneliness strategy. Brian Sloan, Chief Executive of Age Scotland, on behalf of Agill, said the steps the Scottish Government has already taken to address this issue are positive, but it now needs to become a top priority for the First Minister. The negative impact loneliness and social isolation is having on the lives of people in Scotland is acute and is approaching epidemic levels. Loneliness does not discriminate by age, gender, community, background or wealth, but we know older people are most likely to be affected. Right now, there are 100,000 older people who feel lonely all or most of all the time, and double that number go at least half a week without a conversation with anyone. To find out more about becoming a guest or volunteer with Contact the Elderly, email angela.ray-murray@contacttheelderly.co.uk or call 07902 246 062. And there's a lovely picture of two elderly ladies enjoying a nice cup of tea.
Behind the headlines, Scottish people are renowned for their generosity, and on our own Saints' Day this year, we're being given a chance to prove it. Hashtag make someone's day this hashtag St Andrew's Day. Then join in the fight back against commercialism on Black Friday by taking part in Nationwide Fair Day Saturday. And this is a feature by Julie Curry. If we all signed up to one little act of kindness on the same day, imagine what a difference it could make. Well, thanks to a new campaign by the Scottish Government, we don't have to imagine the outcome, for that dream will become a reality on November 30th, with people across the country being asked to commit to doing something nice for someone else on St Andrew's Day. The Make Someone's Day initiative claims to celebrate our generous nature. On Saturday, December 1st, we're also invited to take part in the first Fair Saturday, a celebration of art and culture, while raising funds and awareness for charities. Founded in Spain to combat Black Friday's commercialism, it is now a global movement. But Scotland is the first nation to sign up as a whole. Ben Macpherson, Minister for Europe, Migration and International Development, was delighted to launch the initiative. He said, "This St Andrew's Day represents an inspiring opportunity for people in Scotland in all our diversity to celebrate the inclusive, outward-looking and compassionate spirit of our nation by helping others and showing our generosity. We can all show the best of what it means to be Scottish by each doing something small to hashtag make someone's day. If each of us does something kind for someone else, together we can make a huge positive impact." We wanted our National Day to act as a focal point to showcase the Scots' generous spirit and nature. This is not about how much you can spend, it's about little acts of kindness that mean so much more. We're asking people to make time for elderly neighbours, donate goods to charity shops, hold a charity bake sale at work, volunteer time to a good cause, or gift a meal or hot drink to a homeless person. Everyone can get involved. All you have to do is make someone's day. The initiative is tied in with Fair Saturday, which next year will take place on St Andrew's Day itself. Ben added, "We're linking in with the event this year so we can build up to having a major event in 2019. Fair Saturday gives communities across the country a chance, through arts and culture, to celebrate what it means to be Scottish in the 21st century. We live in a multicultural and diverse society, and we want to celebrate that. Fair Saturday offers the perfect platform to do that. The Fair Saturday movement was founded in 2014 in Bilbao, Spain, by social entrepreneur Jordi Albareda. Sorry if I've mispronounced that. It has since been adopted by Malaga, Santander and Huelva in Spain, Milan and Pisa in Italy, Lima in Peru and Bristol in England. However, Scotland is the first nation to sign up. Jordi said, "When we began the Fair Saturday movement, we wanted countries all over the world to embrace its ideals of creating social impact through arts and culture. It is fitting that Scotland is hosting the first nationwide Fair Saturday festival outside of Spain. Scotland is a nation that focuses on diversity, multiculturalism, social empathy, kindness, and of course arts and culture. So it made complete sense for us to deliver the movement here. It is the most vibrant case of Fair Saturday to date. In a time of building walls, we want to build bridges to connect people, cities, communities, and cultures. Millions of people working together surely must be stronger than some irresponsible global leaders. We hope the Scottish people will mobilise behind our aim of creating a better future for all. A wide range of events have already been organised in communities across Scotland on Fair Saturday, December 1st, and the movement will also be celebrated in more than 100 locations globally. Geordie said more than 600 cultural events with a social impact will be taking place around the world. Could you imagine the day when millions of people take part? It would send such a powerful message that our aim for the future. Fair Saturday aims to make people reflect on how arts and culture and social causes contribute to society. So all its events support a social cause of their choice in one of three ways. 1. By recognising the charity's work. 2. By allowing the charity to spread its message to a wider audience. 3. By contributing to the charity's work via ticket sales and donations. November 30th and December 1st in Scotland will also serve as a perfect antidote to Black Friday's commercialism, which initially prompted Fair Saturday's launch. Geordie added, "We connected with the Scottish Government thanks to our British Council in Bilbao in late 2016 and are delighted to launch our first Fair Saturday here this year. We believe it is one of the best nations in the world in which to start the journey. Scotland's National Day is all about sharing, giving and being kind. That tells you a lot about its people." And you can visit www.scotland.org/events/Saint, that's just ST, Andrews day / make someone's day to find out more or share your good deed at #make someone's day. And there's some pictures accompanying this article of potential ideas. There are some lovely looking pink iced cupcakes. There is a bunch of old clothes on a rack. There are people picking up litter. There's some loose change and money being donated. There are some people holding hands while presumably visiting an elder relative. And there is a homeless man sleeping on the street with a sign that says, "Never look down on anybody unless you're helping them up." And the main picture is of Ben McPherson with Geordie Albereda and a band all wearing #make someone's day, #St Andrew's Day blue sweaters.
You Can Help, compiled by Don Renton. Cancer Support Scotland Awareness Day, November the 30th. How a touch of tartan can make a difference. And there's a picture of tartan trainers. Cancer Support Scotland has launched a special awareness day to emotionally support people affected by cancer by wearing a touch of tartan for a day. Every year, about 30,000 people in Scotland are told they have cancer, and trends predict that this number is likely to rise to almost 35,000 by 2020. This is a day for everyone affected by cancer, a time for reaching out to the family and carers, as well as people with a cancer diagnosis. Madeleine Alexander, interim Chief Executive of the charity, said, "With earlier diagnoses and people living longer with cancer, our services are in demand more than ever, many returning to a new norm after the cancer. I'm delighted more people are discovering our services and using them. It demonstrates that people recognise the need to talk, and that's why Cancer Support Scotland Day is an important way to raise awareness of emotional support. All too often, people don't know how to start the difficult conversation with those closest to them. That's why Cancer Support Scotland is determined to raise awareness and start talking directly about the mental health issues associated with cancer. Cancer Support Scotland is asking you to show support for someone dealing with cancer by wearing tartan on November the 30th. One small gesture of kindness can make all the difference to someone affected by cancer. Make time to talk and ask, how are you and what can I do to help? Involve others by asking people you know to join in. Why not have a dress down day or hold an event with a touch of tartan and donate £2 each to Cancer Support Scotland? Comedienne Susan Calman said, I'm an ambassador for Cancer Support Scotland, a great charity that does fantastic work. I'll be wearing tartan on November the 30th to show my support for their Wear Cancer Support Day. Don't forget to tag Cancer Support Scotland and use hashtag Wear Tartan for a Day. For more information, to register your event or donate, visit www.cancersupportscotland.org. Charity dates for your diary. Help our furry friends this Christmas. The Scottish SPCA is desperately looking for enthusiastic volunteers to spare an hour or so to help fundraise this Christmas at Pets at Home. You may even wish to get into the festive spirit by dressing up in fancy dress. Take your four-legged friend along or bring some baked goodies. The Scottish SPCA doesn't receive any government or lottery funding, so it really does rely on kind volunteers to be able to continue its work, and anyone who gets involved will be helping save lives. The charity will give you everything you need to take part, along with some goodies and promotional materials to help encourage donations.
Hi, this is Callum, and this is an article about the bid to preserve stunning asset by Liz Gallagher. East Dunbartonshire Council has met with Scottish Canals, Transport Scotland and neighbouring authorities to discuss concerns over the Forth and Clyde Canal's future. Councillors unanimously backed a motion earlier this year calling for a meeting to clarify the impact of canal closures at Twecher and Bonnybridge on East Dunbartonshire. This was amidst fears the Born-Again waterway, rescued from decay at enormous expense, is sliding into a new dereliction that will hit local jobs and damage the environment. The meeting has now been held, with invites also issued to local authorities along the route of the canal, with a number of representatives present. It is hoped regular meetings can be held to progress shared issues regarding the Forth and Clyde. Joint Council Leader, Councillor Vaughan Moody, said, "We were pleased to host a positive meeting with Scottish Canals and Transport Scotland and will continue to work with them both as we move forward." Transport Scotland recently announced capital grant aid to enable Scottish Canals to address bridge issues at Twecher and Bonnybridge, opening the canal up again to barges and boats. The canal is one of East Dunbartonshire's most stunning natural assets, and it's vital we work together to ensure it is a usable, accessible and attractive resource for all. Joint Council Leader, Councillor Andrew Paulson, said, "I am glad the Council was able to meet with representatives from Scottish Canals and Transport Scotland to discuss issues and opportunities associated with the Forth and Clyde Canal. We will continue to lobby for ongoing investment in this very important resource and attraction. The Forth and Clyde Canal is a key attraction in East Dunbartonshire. As well as Kirkintilloch Canal Festival, which attracts thousands to the area every August, the Forth and Clyde is a popular resource for local people, businesses and visitors, including those travelling by boat, and we must ensure it can be used to its full potential." Earlier this year, Councillor Alan Moyer, Labour, hit out, "It is outrageous that it is only 17 years since £78.4 million was invested on the Millennium Link project to have the canal reopened. To now have years of continued hard work including voluntary work contributing to the success of the canal, being undermined is completely unacceptable. And this article is accompanied by a lovely photograph of the Forth and Clyde Canal, which contains some buildings overlooking the canal and some lovely trees in full bloom.
Hello everyone, this is Ken reading. Painting power from Bishopbriggs kids simply rocks, and this story is by Liz Gallagher. Local group Bishopbriggs Rocks worked with local schools and groups recently on their Poppy Line initiative. Hundreds of beautiful painted stones were made to honour the fallen for Remembrance Sunday on November the 11th. Lorraine Kerr of the group said, "Every school in Bishopbriggs, several nurseries, youth groups such as Girls Brigade, Guides, the Auchennairn Group, FACT, and numerous local residents took part in this display. This was a lovely tribute to those fallen, and we have 7 pictures accompanying this story, and they're all children with the stones, and they're absolutely beautiful. There's one here, it's like the shape of a table, but it's enormous, and there's maybe 30 people all standing round about it, and they've been involved in painting these rocks, and all the painted rocks are on the top of the table, and it's quite colourful, it really is. And we've got 2 youngsters with their designs to honour the heroes of the Great War. More fantastic poppy themed rocks with 2 children with their wares there, and there's 1 or 2 other lovely kids with all the stones have painted, and they're obviously enjoying themselves. MP drop planned flight path changes. East Dunbartonshire MP Jo Swinson met recently with the Managing Director of Glasgow Airport to discuss the forthcoming rerun of the airport's consultation on proposed flight path changes. Glasgow's airport initial airspace changes consultation on potential flight path changes ran from January the 15th to April the 13th of this year. The changes would mean flight paths diverging sooner after takeoff, which would see planes flying over areas like Kessington and Kirrament for the first time. However, following new guidance from the Civil Aviation Authority, that's the CAA, in January this year, airport officials were informed that a new consultation needs to take place. In April, Jo submitted her response to the initial consultation, objecting to the proposed flight path changes and highlighting the shortcomings of the consultation process, which included a failure to engage properly with some Bearsden residents, as well as overly complex consultation documents. After her meeting with Mark Johnson at Glasgow Airport, Jo said, "Many residents in Bearsden have been dismayed about the potential flight path changes, and I will continue to make the case in the strongest possible terms that the changes should not go ahead as proposed. My meeting with Glasgow Airport's Managing Director was constructive, and I was able to underline my disappointment at the way the previous consultation process was handled. I stressed the importance of proper community engagement on any subsequent proposals, as well as the need to ensure the new consultation documents are easier to understand. Noise pollution can have profound impact on people's lives, and given the number of complaints I received from residents worried about the potential for a sudden increase in aircraft noise, Glasgow Airport should not push forward with the original proposed flight path changes." And you can see Jo's formal submission at www.joswinson.org.uk/Glasgow_Airport. Devro walks off with Green Award. Devro Scotland Limited in Moodiesburn was one of the 10 companies rewarded for their commitment to sustainability at this year's VIBES, that's the VIBES, Scottish Environment Business Awards. The manufacturer, which produces casing for the food industry, collected the Green Team Award at the ceremony held at the Radisson Blu in Glasgow. A number of other companies were also awarded for their environmental efforts. The announcement followed a rigorous judging process where each of the 43 finalists were visited by a team of judges to assess their environmental process. David McMorris, Environmental Manager at Devro, Scotland, said, "We are proud to have been recognised as this year's Vibes. Collecting an award is a real testament to the hard work and commitment from not only this team but everyone at Devro towards reducing our impact on the environment, and we are proud to take our place amongst many excellent companies working hard to deliver a sustainable future." The awards are a fantastic way to find out about what other businesses are doing and share best practice amongst a like-minded community that too want to improve their operations while benefiting the environment, and it is hoped that others are inspired to follow suit.
Busy time ahead for organisation. Chamber's Women in Business initiative by Liz Gallagher. The Dumbartonshire Chamber of Commerce will host 6 events over the next 5 weeks during one of its busiest times of the year. A highlight will be the launch of the Dumbartonshire Women in Business initiative on Wednesday, November 28th. Emma Armstrong, Scottish Women's Awards Professional of the Year, will provide a fascinating and inspirational insight into how she grew Clydebank-based Be Able Business Services into a highly successful multi-award winning firm. The Chamber also held the first of its highly successful business breakfast clubs recently. It took place at Finns Bay in Milngavie on Thursday, November 15th, and the next is at the Golden Jubilee Conference Hotel on Thursday, November 29th at 8:30 p.m. The busy period will end with a Christmas lunch on Thursday, December 13th. Tim Allen, President, Scottish Chambers of Commerce and one of Scotland's leading businessmen, will be the guest speaker at this prestigious annual event. For more information on the Chamber and its work, you can visit www.dumbartonshirechamber.co.uk, and there is a picture of Emma Armstrong, who is at the Scottish Women's Awards Professional of the Year. Business. New owner protects your newspaper online and in print. You may have seen or heard reports over the weekend that Johnston Press, the owner of this newspaper, was placed into administration. We can announce we are owned by a new operating company called JPI Media under a new financial arrangement that safeguards your newspaper and website. Johnston Press had been conducting a strategic review of its finances over the past 18 months to restructure its debts and assets. This weekend saw the company placed into administrative process and acquired by those who previously owned our debt. This is good news for the title, as it safeguards your newspaper and website, continues the employment of all our staff, and helps us to have a more stable and secure future. Our journalists will continue to report on the stories you would expect us to. There will be no change to our editorial policies, the values we hold, our editorial independence, or our commitment to the Editor's Code and IPSO guidelines. While this review has been taking place, our journalists and commercial staff have continued to operate as normal, bringing you the unrivalled quality news, sport and information you expect of us. Nothing has changed about that today. Our commitment to you and our readers, newsagents and retailers is that we will continue to serve you in the best way we can, with the quality you would expect, and to nurture the unique community relationship we have with you. Don't miss Fair Saturday events across Scotland on December 1st. Groups across Scotland have already joined the Fair Saturday movement with a programme of 75 events in 25 cities and towns supporting 54 social causes, but there is still time to stage an event on December 1st. Jordi Albareda, Fair Saturday director, said, "We are tremendously excited to see how Scotland celebrates Fair Saturday for the first time. It is a simple idea, an idea that wishes to trigger a mass mobilisation of people around culture the day following Black Friday. Instead of having the price attract people, Fair Saturday will do it through social empathy. And there's still time for people to stage events if they want to become part of the movement. If you would prefer to simply support Fair Saturday, you can find out about events in your area on the website fairsaturday.org. The Ethnic Minority Forum Eastern Bartonshire is staging an event on November 30th in its Bearsden hub from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m, celebrating St Andrew's Day with Indian and Spanish dance music. Lunch will also be provided with the aim of providing better understanding between communities while having a great time together. It will also raise funds for St Margaret of Scotland Hospice.
Poverty bites. 668 local kids rely on food banks to eat. There's a picture of the local councillor, Gail Patterson, MSP. Local SNP MSP Gil Patterson has slammed the UK government's cuts to welfare after new figures revealed food bank use in Eastern Bartonshire has risen by 6% since last year. Shockingly, 668 children in Eastern Bartonshire live in families who were provided with 3-day emergency food supplies between the beginning of April this year and the end of September. Food bank providers have said the rise is largely due to the inbuilt minimum wait of 5 weeks for a first payment for those migrated to universal credit, with many more people forced to wait even longer than 5 weeks. Britain's biggest food bank provider, the Trussell Trust, has called for urgent changes to universal credit, while the SNP have consistently called for a halt to the rollout of the scheme. Last week, the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Extreme Poverty and Human Rights visited the UK to investigate the impact of austerity. Mr Patterson said, "These are truly heartbreaking figures for Eastern Bartonshire. The fact that 668 children should be reliant on food banks in order to eat in an area like Eastern Bartonshire is wrong. Food bank use is growing across Scotland, which is clearly a damning indictment of UK government cuts to welfare and the botched rollout of universal credit. I see the impact of Tory benefit cuts on a daily basis in my constituency, and the Tories have shown time and time again that they cannot be trusted with social security in Scotland. There is only so much the Scottish Government can do to protect the people of Scotland from the heartless right-wing Tory government in Westminster." Picture of the week is a beautiful picture of Abbotsford Woods, Melrose, taken by Douglas Mervyn. It's a winding path with trees and all the beautiful autumn colours, green, gold and brown. It's a very attractive picture and suitable for this season.
This is Callum, and we have an article about the music scene written by Don Renton, and it's about Katie, set to kick off 2019 at King Tut's New Year gig. Bishopbriggs singer-songwriter Katie Cross has already made a name for herself, working with some of the biggest names in music. The 21-year-old has appeared with Dougie MacLean, Barbara Dixon, Karen Polwart, James Grant, John Doyle, Findlay Napier, Tony McManus and C6 Steve at venues including Wembley Arena, SSE Hydro, Kelvin Grove Bandstand, King Tut's Wah Wah Hut, as well as appearing at Millport Country Music Festival 2018. Katie already has 3 albums under her belt. The first, Beautiful Dreamer, was released in March 2016, with the second, Don't Fade to Grey, just a year later. and the latest album, Body and Soul, with her band the Amberjacks, has been written, recorded and produced by themselves, and released this month at a sold-out gig at Nice and Sleazy in Glasgow. During the year, Katie Cross and the Amberjacks has appeared at 11 festivals across the country, with C2C Glasgow, in brackets SSE Acoustic Stage, close brackets, Burns Fest, Mugstock and Millport Country Music Festival amongst them. At the start of the year, Katie headlined at King Tut's Wawa Hut as a result of a C2C Acoustic Stage appearance, where access to the stage was restricted to one out, one in due to numbers, which was, in brackets, the first time that had ever happened according to DF Concerts. She has continued to work, assisting young up-and-coming artists, launching her own TV show, Here and Now, for its first season with online streaming company Broadcasting Scotland. The new year will kick off with headlining King Tut's again in January as part of their New Year Revolution series, and later on a small tour of multiple dates in Germany, and hopefully a return to Millport in August/September. Catch Katie at King Tut's New Year's Revolution, hashtag KTNYR19, Sunday, January 6th at 7 p.m. For more information and tickets, visit www.katiecross.com. And the article is accompanied by a lovely photograph of the young Katie strumming her acoustic guitar, and the photograph is by Stage Storm Photography.
We now have the community pin board. We'll start with St David's Memorial Park Church. The Tuesday short lunchtime service will be held on November the 27th at noon. The Guild that evening, at 7:30 p.m, has a speaker from one of their projects, Crossreach, Join Up the Dots. All are very welcome. Our church bell is now in excellent working order. You may have heard it sounding on Remembrance Day. Lindsay Union Parish Church. Sunday service is at 11 a.m. Evening service is at 7 p.m. in the church hall. The church is open for quiet reflection on Wednesday 10 a.m. till 11 a.m. A short time of prayer is held at 10:15 a.m. The meeting place, coffee shop, is open 10 a.m. till noon on Wednesdays. Join friends for coffee, tea and home baking. The coffee pot is open Fridays 10 a.m. till 11:45 a.m. for a chat, some home baking, tea and coffee. Kenmure Parish Church. Our regular Sunday services are at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. and will be led by our minister, the Reverend Jim Gemmell. You can catch up on all of our morning sermons on our website, www.kenmure-church.co.uk, and also on East Dunbartonshire Radio at www.mixcloud.com/ED Radio. The Guild meets this Monday at 7:30 p.m. when the topic will be The Time of Our Lives, with speakers Joyce Deans and Anna Magnesson. Inquiries are welcome about any activity in the church by emailing kenmurechurch@icloud.com or contacting us. St Columba's Church of Scotland. Old Isle Road, Kirkintilloch, Reverend Philip Wright. At 7 p.m. on Saturday, November the 24th, St Columba's is holding a ceilidh as we celebrate our 50th anniversary. Tickets priced £10 each are available from the church office. Telephone number 0141 578 0016. All are very welcome to our Sunday service at 10:30 a.m. on November the 25th. Hillhead Parish Church. On the afternoon of Saturday, November the 24th, the church is holding a Christmas fair from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. There will be raffles, tombola, soft goods, cards, gifts, home baking and tea and coffee and Christmas pies. Tickets are £2. Sunday, November 25th, is the Guild dedication service, and the Reverend Vinnie will conduct the service. Tea and coffee will be served after the service. St Mary's Parish Church. Tea, coffee and home baking at Wednesdays. Welcome from 10 a.m, followed by a short service at 11:30 a.m. All weekly organisations will be meeting as usual. For further details, contact the church office. Kirkintilloch Church of God. On Sunday in the Regent Hall, Regent Street, a good news service at 6:30 p.m. The speaker will be Tony Smith. On Tuesday, prayer and Bible teaching at 7:30 p.m. Come to Coffee Corner on Wednesday from noon till 3 p.m. for coffee and home baking. Lenzie Old Parish Church. A St Andrew's concert will take place on Friday, November the 23rd at 7:30 p.m. Our tickets are £5, including refreshments. Performers include Millersnook Primary School Choir, Lenzie Academy pupils, Quattro Voici, and others. A warm welcome awaits everyone at all our events and services. Please check our website for further information. We have a lovely picture of this coming Sunday service is at 10:30 a.m. in church with Cadder Kids and the Breakfast Club for young people. Messy Church, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. will happen in the South Halls for families with young children, and there's a lovely picture of the church. We have another picture here which is members celebrating the 70th anniversary of the Hospital League, the GDHBA, on November the 9th in Springburn Private Bowling Club. And there's quite a few members there, and they all look very happy, and they're all well dressed. It's very nice to see that. The men's club meets next. This is Carter Parish Church. The men's club meets next Wednesday, November the 28th, when Stuart Mackay leads an expedition to Mount Kutun in Outer Mongolia. The Guild meets next Thursday, November the 29th.
This feature is by Dawn Renton, and it's Papers of the Exiled Stuart Kings published online for the first time. Unparalleled collection of original documents reveals the personal lives and political ambitions of the Stuarts and their Jacobite followers. A major new digitalisation programme will provide unparalleled insight into the social, military and personal worlds of the exiled Stuart dynasty and their Jacobite followers, as they fought to regain the thrones of Scotland, England and Ireland between the late 17th and early 19th centuries. The Stuart and Cumberland Papers project has been made accessible online a total of 245,000 documents from the Royal Archives at Windsor Castle. The project has been undertaken in partnership with Gale, a Cengage company, a leading provider of educational technologies for libraries. Digitised over a period of 18 months, the papers are now available as part of Gale's State Papers Online programme and can be acquired by academic institutions and libraries worldwide to offer researchers and students a unique window into this turbulent period of European history. The Stuart claimants to the throne were the descendants of James VII of Scotland, who was forced from the throne and replaced by his Protestant daughter, Mary II, and her husband, William of Orange, during the Glorious Revolution of 1688. From then until the death of the last Stuart heir in 1807, the Stuarts were exiles in Europe, at the head of a complex network of Jacobite supporters at home and abroad. The Stuart Papers bring together the private and diplomatic correspondence of James II, his son James Francis Edward Stuart, nicknamed the Old Pretender, and his grandson Charles Edward Stuart, better known as Bonnie Prince Charlie, as well as telling the story of their wives and mistresses, loyal followers, courtiers and spies. A significant proportion of the papers are wholly or partly in cipher, often with the translation written above each line. In July 1745, Bonnie Prince Charlie sailed from France to Scotland with plans to raise a Jacobite army against the Hanoverians and regain the throne for his father. In April 1746, the two sides were preparing to meet at Culloden Moor. A memorandum in the Stuart papers written by General Lord George Murray details the combat orders issued to the exhausted Jacobite troops. It is required and expected that each individual in the army, as well as officer as soldier, keeps their posts that shall be allotted to them, and if any man turn his back to run away, the next behind such man is to shoot him. Nobody on pain of death to strip the slain or plunder till the battle be over. The Highlanders all to be in kilts, and nobody to throw away their guns, by HRH command. The Jacobites suffered a catastrophic defeat at the Battle of Culloden, and Bonnie Prince Charlie fled to France. In a letter dated 28th of April 1746, the Prince wrote to his Scottish chiefs justifying his reasons for leaving Scotland and asking them to conceal his departure for as long as possible. He wrote, "When I came into this country, it was with my only view to do all in my power for your good and safety. This I will always do as long as life is in me. But alas, I see with grief I can at present do little for you on this side of the water. For the only thing that can now be done is to defend yourselves till the French assist you." 2 months later, in one of the most personal letters to be found in the Stuart papers, Charles's father, James Francis Edward, wrote to him to discuss the failure of the 1745-6 rebellion. The Prince urged his son, "Do not for God's sake drive things too far, but think of your own safety, on which so much depends. Though your enterprise should miscarry, the honour you have gained by it will always stick by you. It will make you be respected and considered abroad." While the majority of the letter was dictated by the Prince to his secretary, the last sentence was added in the Prince's own handwriting. "Adieu, my dearest child. I tenderly embrace you, and am all yours once more. God bless and protect you, James R." Digitised alongside the Stuart papers are those of William Augustus, Duke of Cumberland, the second surviving son of George II, who was a key figure in the Hanoverian monarchy and Captain General of the British Army between 1745 and 1757. In 1746, he was appointed Ranger of Windsor, Great Park, a role he retained until his death in 1765. By making available these two distinct but historically related collections, the Stuart and Cumberland Papers project offers unique perspectives into both the Jacobite risings and methods used by the ruling Hanoverian monarchy to suppress them. Oliver Irvine, the librarian and deputy keeper of the Queen's Archives, said, "The Stuart and Cumberland Papers project forms part of our ongoing commitment to make the historic treasures of the Royal Archives as widely accessible as possible through digital technology. We are grateful to our partners at Gale for enabling us to make this invaluable resource available online, giving students and scholars from around the world the opportunity to explore these compelling original documents firsthand." Seth Cayley, Vice President, Gale Primary Resources, said, "The history of the exiled Stuart court, with all of its intrigues, larger-than-life personalities, and thwarted ambition, is revealed in intricate detail through these documents and papers of court life and politics. The digital availability of the Stuart and Cumberland Papers in State Papers online will enrich 18th century studies research around the world. Gale would like to thank the Royal Archives collaborating on this milestone project."
This is the Community Pin Board. The first article is about Glasgow Scribes. The Glasgow Scribes, a hobby calligraphy group with members and visitors living within travelling distance of Glasgow, are holding the following events. Saturday, November 24, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m, dry embossing and gilding workshop. Saturday, December the 1st, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m, using automatic pens. Saturday, January 5th, 2019, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m, writing on natural objects. Visitors welcome to attend. Workshop places must be booked in advance. For more details of the above and the Glasgow Scribes, please visit www.glasgowscribes.blogspot.com. Email glasgowscribes@yahoo.co.uk. Tweet at Glasgow Scribes or phone 07895 935 106. Voicemail. Lenzie Fair. St Cyprian's Christmas Fair on Saturday, November 24th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the church and hall in Beach Road, Lenzie. There will be our usual stalls with crafts, fancy goods, toys, tombola, jewellery, home baking and more. Entry is free and refreshments will be available. Please come and join us. Moodiesburn Walks. On Monday, November 26th, a new weekly health walk will start in Moodiesburn. The free walk will set off at 9:15 a.m. from the Pivot Centre on Glenmanor Avenue. As the walks will last no longer than an hour and avoid tricky terrain, they are suitable for people of all abilities, ages and fitness levels. Following well-surfaced paths and pavements in and around Moodiesburn, participants can enjoy some gentle exercise in the company of others, with the added bonus of friendly chat and fresh air. There is no need to book, just turn up. Please wear suitable shoes and dress for the weather conditions on the day. The walks are organised by Get Walking Lanarkshire in partnership with Northern Corridor Community Volunteers and are open to all. For more info about the new walk, contact Get Walking Lanarkshire on 01698 402077 or 07903 358 424 or email getwalkinglanarkshire@northland.gov.uk. Schools. Turnbull High. Scottish Parliament trip. On Friday, November 9th, a group of higher English pupils visited the Scottish Parliament in Edinburgh to attend a special educational event looking at language in Parliament. On arrival, pupils were given a tour of the building, including access to the community rooms used for parliamentary business and, of course, the debating chamber. After the tour, pupils then experienced a series of workshops designed to highlight the various ways that language is used within the context of the Parliament. Pupils met with a reporter and sub-editor for the official report, learning how to turn the spoken word into a clear written report. After that, pupils met with a member of the legislative team responsible for writing parliamentary bills. It was a very insightful exercise and really made the pupils think about the importance of clarity and accuracy in writing, especially when given the opportunity to scrutinise a fictitious control of mobile devices bill. Needless to say, this wasn't one the pupils wanted to become law anytime soon. Finally, the day was rounded off with a session from a professional speechwriter on the art of public speaking. As well as watching clips of some of history's best and worst speeches, the pupils also learned about the key ingredients that make up an effective and memorable speech. Lenzie Academy, the Diana Award. In the Year of Young People, Eastern Bartonshire has continued to demonstrate how it recognises the positive impact young people have on their community. Recently, the Scottish Diana Awards ceremony recognised 2 former Lenzie Academy young people who have volunteered their time and experience in making a difference to others' lives. Louise Aitken has been a key representative of East Dunbartonshire's young adult carers, giving presentations to various groups on what it means to be a carer, whilst also attending school, college and working towards qualifications. However, her personal volunteering journey has also included time at the local cancer research shop and attending the East Dunbartonshire Generations Working Together Christmas Day lunch, where she volunteered alongside Stand International. Siobhan Young worked hard while attending Lindsay Academy to provide support within the Support for Pupils department, and also volunteered at Campsie View School, where she had attended nursery many years before. She enjoys trying to make a positive difference to others' lives. The two young people were supported by their families as well as Lindsay Academy staff, and pupils at the Diana Awards ceremony, where they were celebrated as role models in living up to Princess Diana's belief that young people have the power to change the world for the better.
Hi, this is Callum, and we have an article from Dr. Frank Dunn entitled The Heart of the Matter, and the headline is "Shingles Can Really Get Under Your Skin." I popped in to see practice nurse at the GP surgery this week to receive my flu shot. I was slightly surprised to hear that I was getting a bonus vaccination to prevent pneumococcal infection, in brackets pneumovax. The pneumococcus is a nasty little fellow who can cause severe lung infections and meningitis. The nurse informed me that this was the last time I would require pneumovax. This caused me slight concern. Does this mean I'm likely to fall off my perch within the next 5 years? Not necessarily. Recent data suggests that unless you're prone to such infections, then you only need one lifelong vaccination. My diligent nurse then informed me that I had now reached the age where I qualified for vaccination against shingles. 3 vaccinations in the one day was one too many, as I only had 2 arms. I will return for that in a couple of weeks, and having seen a number of friends with this very painful condition, I am all for it. The word shingles derives from the Latin cingulus, which is a variant of the word cingulum, meaning girdle. This indicates the distribution of the pain and rash, i.e. in the distribution of a nerve usually around the chest. It is also known as herpes zoster. Zoster is the Greek word for a belt. In point of fact, the pain and rash are characteristically on one side and do not cross the midline, as they follow a nerve distribution on one side only. The nerves involved can be anywhere but are usually in the chest, abdomen, face or eye. Approximately 1 in 4 of the population are afflicted by this condition at some point. It originates from the chickenpox virus, which resides in an inactive form, often for many years, in the nerve root. It then rears its ugly and unwanted head. The elderly and those with decreased immunity from, for example, cancer, are especially prone to this condition. It usually starts with a tingling feeling along a narrow band on one side of the chest. This can rapidly develop into a fairly severe pain, and in fact a heart attack can be suspected until closer questioning and examination are undertaken. The patient also feels generally unwell with nausea, fever and headache. The blister-filled rash appears in the same area. The rash can be very itchy and may cause slight scarring. The pain may continue for several days or weeks. Occasionally the pain can last for months in a condition known as post-herpetic neuralgia. There is treatment available, including antiviral therapy. This, when given in the early stages of the disease, can reduce the pain and duration of the illness. In addition, pain relief will be needed, as will care of the skin rash. As with so many conditions, prevention is better than cure. This is where the vaccine comes in. Because the likelihood of shingles and the degree of debilitation increases after the age of 70, the NHS has targeted the vaccine to this age group. The vaccine appears to be less effective after the age of 80 and therefore is not offered once that age is reached. The vaccine does not eliminate shingles, but certainly reduces the likelihood of the disease and also the severity. In the first 3 years after its introduction, there was 17,000 less referrals with suspected shingles. That is good enough for me.
Talking point. There's a short cartoon here with the words, "Oh Fred, you always have to overdo things," and the woman is holding a sign saying microchipping for employees, and the man, who is seen in a wee cartoon in the background with a big nose and a short moustache and a pipe, is dressed up as a Cyberman in a full metal outfit. Your letters. Ramble on. Correspondent taken to task. Sir, Stuart Mann may be able to write a rambling letter objecting to Kirkintilloch Community Council's Citizens' Assembly, but has he got a better idea? Yours, etc., Donald MacDonald, Clare Road, Bishopbriggs. Employment. Giving young people a chance. Sir, new figures out this month show the number of jobless in Scotland has fallen below 4% of the population, which is good news. But finding a job in a chosen career or one with opportunity as a young adult is still one of the toughest steps in life. Without experience or awareness of the skills required to find and keep a job, many young people are repeatedly rejected at interviews with any aspiration beaten out of them. It can be no one's fault, but employers have the power to make a real difference. We run an employer-led programme, handpicked, from C.R. Smith, which teaches young people the ability to sell themselves and what it means to be a part of a thriving workforce. Through academies and paid work placements, where there is a level of skills training, we are guiding 16 to 24-year-olds into meaningful jobs. Having a low jobless rate is to be welcomed, but we also need to ensure that our young people are given the chance to learn the skills that will ensure they can play a full part in Scotland's workforce. For me, that is something employers can support. Yours, etc., Gerard Eady, CBE, founder of Handpicked and chairman of C.R. Smith in Dunfermline. Human rights. Doing something different. Sir, interested in doing something different? Why not send a Christmas card to a human rights worker? One country where religious minorities face persecution and discrimination is India, where the government panders to nationalist groups. The situation has grown worse over the last few years. John Dayal is one of India's most prominent voices on human rights and the situation of religious minorities in particular. He is a member of several governmental bodies, including the National Integration Council, and the former president of the All India Catholic Union. He is also co-founder and Secretary-General of the All India Christian Council. Send a card to John Dayal, 505 Link Apartments, 18, IP Extension, Delhi, 11092, India. Yours, etc., Brian McKenna, by email. Cancer. Spread the word about symptoms. Sir, around 784 people are diagnosed with pancreatic cancer every year in the UK, and tragically 1 in 4 people won't survive for a month. 3 in 4 won't survive for a year, making pancreatic cancer the quickest killing cancer. Despite being the cancer with the worst outcomes, many people are unaware of the disease and the devastating impact it can have. As World Pancreatic Cancer Day approaches, that's the 15th of November, I urge your readers to find out more about the disease and spread the word about its symptoms. An increased awareness of the symptoms, which include tummy and back pain, indigestion, itchy skin or yellow skin or eyes, unexplained weight loss and oily floating poo, could lead to more people being diagnosed at an earlier stage. It may increase their chances of being eligible for life-saving surgery. Find out more information at the World Pancreatic Cancer Day website or seek support from myself or one of my colleagues on the Pancreatic Cancer UK support line 0808 801 0707. Yours, etc., Diane Dobson, Pancreatic Cancer UK Specialist Nurse. Ribbon Appeal. Remember loved ones. Sir, Meningitis Now has today launched its 2018 Ribbon Appeal, which gives everyone an opportunity to remember loved ones this Christmas. Each year, the charity helps people to honour those they have lost with a ribbon, inscribed with their family member or friend's name. These are placed on our tree of remembrance at our Christmas concert in Gloucester Cathedral on Thursday, December 13th. To dedicate a ribbon, visit our website, Meningitis Now, and there is a Ribbon 2018 page, before December 7th. Ribbons can be placed by anyone left bereaved, whatever the circumstances of their loss, and all donations received in exchange for a ribbon will help support families who need us this Christmas. It's only through the generosity of individuals that we're able to save lives and rebuild futures. Through our research, awareness and support work, and your donation really does make a difference. This year's appeal is spearheaded by Russ and Kerry Fisher of Uttoxeter? Sorry if I don't know, Staffordshire, who lost their daughter Ruby to bacterial meningitis at just 6 weeks old in 2015. We have been supporting the family since then. Russ and Kerry have bravely allowed us to film their story to help with our appeal, and you can view this now at the Ruby page at Meningitis Now website. We remain committed to being here to support all those who need us after meningitis, as we move towards a future where no one in the UK dies from this disease, and everybody affected gets the support that they need. If anyone would like to know more about our fight against meningitis and our ribbon appeal, or get tickets for our concert, please visit our website. Yours, etc., Tom Nutt, Chief Executive for Meningitis Now. Charities, help us reach £10,000. Sir, Positive Action in Housing's 2018 Winter Emergency Appeal is raising funds to directly support destitute refugees and asylum seekers and their families. This appeal will provide emergency crisis support to vulnerable refugees and asylum-seeking families, children, pregnant women, the elderly and sick through winter, so please give whatever amount you can afford. Your donation will assist those who have fled war and persecution in their own countries, leaving behind loved ones, friends and everything they know. They have risked their lives to find safety here. Unfortunately, thousands of would-be refugees are being fast-tracked into destitution. Positive Action in Housing works to provide a breathing space so that individuals and families can begin to work out their options with the support of their lawyer, caseworker, and other support network. Our Lifeline service provides advice, information, shelter and crisis support to destitute refugees and asylum seekers. Refused refugees have no right to housing, jobs or state support. New refugees are routinely left destitute despite being entitled to support. As well as humanitarian aid, we proactively help people to resolve a crisis and rebuild their lives. In 2017 to 2018, Positive Action in Housing provided casework representation and emergency assistance to 1,400 destitute refugees and asylum seeker families, children, women and men who were on the brink of destitution. We provided over 45,000 nights of emergency shelter through our volunteer hosts and have arranged over 500 hostings since 2015 in the homes of volunteer hosts in Glasgow, Edinburgh and London and elsewhere. We distributed over £61,000 in crisis payments to destitute people, mainly from Syria, Eritrea, Iraq, Afghanistan, Iran, Palestine and Yemen. Our approach has produced life-transforming outcomes for people who felt they had no hope left. At Christmas time each year, Positive Action in Housing runs a winter surgery. We expect to see around 300 service users plus from their dependents from Syria, Eritrea, Palestine, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Yemen and many other countries of origin. We are directly reaching our most vulnerable service users, unaccompanied children, families, pregnant women, the elderly and sick, and lone individuals living in poverty and long-term destitution. Small crisis grants will be distributed along with bus tokens, food cards and hygiene packs. Children will also receive books, art and selection boxes. We expect a much greater demand from the elderly, pregnant women, families and the sick. With your help we can do more. We need you to stand up for refugees. Any donation you give, no matter how small, is appreciated. Every penny goes towards providing emergency relief for destitute refugees and asylum seekers and their families. For more information, you can email donate@positiveactionh.org. Donate online now at BT My Donate and add gift aid. Post a cheque made payable to Positive Action in Housing, in brackets, Winter Appeal, close brackets, to Winter Appeal, Positive Action in Housing, 98 West George Street, Glasgow, G2 1PJ. Thank you for your support. Yours, etc., Positive Action in Housing. Hair raising. Grow a beard this December. Sir, I'm calling on men to grow a beard this December and raise money for Bowel Cancer UK. I'm thrilled to be supporting Decembeard, which is especially personal to me. I had polyps removed from my bowel and now have annual checkups, but the realisation that it could have developed into bowel cancer really hit me. Taking part in Decembeard is simple. All you need to do is clean shave on 30th of November and let your facial fuzz grow throughout the month. Already bearded? No problem. Dye, ditch or decorate your beard. Bowel cancer affects 1 in 14 men in the UK and is the third most common cancer in men, so it's a really important cause. Save lives this December, grow a beard and raise funds to support vital services and life-saving research. Sign up now at bowelcancer.co.uk/Decembeard. Yours, etc., Carl Hester, Olympic gold medalist.
Looking back, remember this. On November the 22nd, 1963, US President John F. Kennedy was assassinated while riding in an open-top convertible in a presidential motorcade in Dallas, Texas. First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy was in the car along with Texas Governor John Connally, who was seriously injured. Lee Harvey Oswald was later arrested for the shooting, and there's a photograph of the very charismatic John F. Kennedy. On November the 22nd, 1986, Mike Tyson, aged 20, became the youngest heavyweight boxing champion in history, defeating Trevor Berbick in the second round. And a couple of adverts from the past. We've got two here, For Yourself and the Boy, and it's a B. Hyam store on 124 to 126 High Street in Edinburgh. And there's a gentleman in a suit looking very dapper. And the other one is Jenner's Summer Sale for Ladies Outfitting Department, exceptional value. I say the writing is so small, so I can't tell you what wonderful prices were on offer. The big picture, and this week we've got a picture courtesy of the Scotsman, and it's of Cameron House when they unfortunately had their extensive fire, and it shows the hotel with the fire engines and unfortunately all the damage that was done there. But the hotel, which was extensively damaged by fire, has submitted plans for a total restoration, so we wish them luck with that. And now I've got some public notices, and this is concerning North Lanarkshire Council, various streets in North Lanarkshire, disabled persons parking places order. Notice is hereby given that North Lanarkshire Council proposed to make the North Lanarkshire Council various streets North Lanarkshire disabled persons parking places order, the order, in terms of the Disabled Persons Parking Places Scotland Order 2009. And the Road Traffic Regulation Act 1984 to establish disabled persons parking places at the locations identified in this notice. The effect of the order will be to establish disabled persons parking places and to make it illegal to park any vehicle in any one of the disabled persons parking places as detailed below, unless the vehicle is displaying an appropriate and properly authorised blue badge issued by a local authority. Now, I'm going to read out some of the streets. There is an awful lot of streets in this, which are from far and wide, but I'll do some local ones. So we've got Abron Hill, Cumbernauld, north of 199 Ash Road, south east of 57 Birch Road, south of 128 Birch Road, south east of 104 Cedar Road, 43 to 45 Chestnut Avenue, 2 to 4 Hawthorne Road, northwest of 18 Hawthorne Road, and 276 to 278 Lime Crescent. In Christon, 38 Bothlin Road and 15 Campsie View. Condoret, 14 to 16 Dalshannon View, 14 to 16 Etive Place, 121 Morra Drive, east of 39 Rannoch Drive, and north of 42 Rannoch Drive. Croy, opposite 28 Barbeggs Crescent, 1 to 3 Old Mill View, 26 to 28 Smithstone Crescent, 25 to 27 Taggart Road. Cumbernauld, southwest of 13 Kirkwall, the village, rear of 53 McTaggart Road, 36 to 38 Melrose Road, northeast of 115 Smithy Ends, the village, 163 Stony Lee Road, 1A to H Tarbolton Road, north of 1 Tyree Road, and 79 Walbray Road. Glenboig, 26 to 28 Gainside Road, Glen Mavis, 38 Glenview Street, 133 Ryden Mains Road. Greenfolds, rear of 35 Abbotsford Place, opposite 130 to 144 Ivanhoe Road, 5 Lochinver Road, and 37 Marmion Road. Kildrum, east of 10A Afton Road, opposite of 177 to 179 Bray Head Road, 276 Bray Head Road, southwest of 30A Clouden Road, opposite of 15A to H Kyle Road, east of 5A Molesgill Road. Kilsyth, opposite 49 to 51 Argyle Place, 38 to 40 Belmont Street, 17 Fisher Avenue, 14 to 16 Irvine Place, northeast of 21 Irvine Place, 51 to 53 John Wilson Drive, 31 to 33 Johnston Avenue, east of 2 to 12 Kingston Road on Charles Street, 2A to D Station Road, northeast of 18 Dundreth Terrace, opposite 14 to 28 Up Lane. Moodysburn, south of 2 to 2A Iron Lane on Heathfield Avenue, 24 Bridgeburn Drive, 65 to 67 Bridgeburn Drive, 95 Bridgeburn Drive, 2 Laverock Terrace, opposite 1 Meadowhead Avenue. Mount Ellen, 30 to 32 Lochend Avenue, North Carbane, 51 to 53 Craigieburn Road, north of 205 Glenacre Road, 55 Torbrecks Road, south of 234 Torbrecks Road. Seafurl, north of 3A Fleming Road, 2C to 2D Grieve Road, 2E to 2F Grieve Road, 149 McGregor Road, and north of 181 McGregor Road. South Carbrain, rear of 415 to 419 Greenrig Road, 487 Greenrig Road. Steps, rear of 65 to 67 Frankfield Road on Risepole Road. Westfield, north of 31 Drumnessy Road, 37 Drumnessy Road, south of 14 Mossywood Place, opposite 31 to 32 Mossywood Place, 30 to 31 Woodhead Grove, west of 27 Woodhead Place on Woodhead Road. Full details of these proposals, which form the proposed North Lanarkshire Council various streets, North Lanarkshire areas, disabled persons, parking places order, together with plans and a statement of reasons for proposing to make this order, are available for inspection during normal office hours, Monday to Friday, inclusive at the offices of the Head of Legal and Democratic Solutions, North Lanarkshire Council, Civil Centre, Windmill Hill Street and Motherwell, and the Head of Environmental Assets, North Lanarkshire Council, Fleming House, 2 Trist Road, Cumbernauld, and during normal opening hours at various libraries, for example, Abron Hill Library, Airdrie Library, Bells Hill Cultural Centre, Chapel Hall Library, Christon Cultural Centre, Coatbridge Library, Condoret Library, Archie Aiken, Head of Oh, that's at the end, I'm sorry, I've jumped a sentence there. Cumbernauld Library, Kilsyth Library, Motherwell Library, Moodisburn Library, New Stevenson Library, Shotts Library, Steps Library, View Park Library and Wishaw Library. In addition, inquiries can be made by telephoning 01236 632 764. And I'll just repeat that because that's a lot of information in this article. It's 01236 632 764. Any person wishing to object to the proposal should send details of the grounds for objection in writing to the head of Legal and Democratic Solutions, North Lanarkshire Council, Civic Centre, Windmill Hill Street, Motherwell, ML1 1AB by Wednesday, 19th of December 2018. Maybe the Scottish Government's reporter should have paid more attention to them when they overruled the council to let this development go ahead on appeal from the developer. This is further evidence that the current appeal system is not only unfair, but too often leads to bad decisions. The council must not only urgently investigate this and strictly enforce the planning condition to ensure there is no risk of water pollution in particular. They would also do well to communicate clearly to the community what they are doing to protect public health during this development, one which they themselves did not want to go ahead. The council rejected the Cala Homes plan last year after fierce opposition, but it was passed by the reporter to the Scottish Government in February.
Comment. A special trip down memory lane. It's always nice to mark someone's birthday or anniversary, as there doesn't seem to be a lot of happiness around at the moment. So, opening the show and making the headlines is Walt Disney's most famous star, Mickey Mouse. The funny animal cartoon character celebrates his 90th birthday this month. Mickey made his film debut in one of the best short films ever made, Steamboat Willie. He went on to appear in over 130 films, with probably still one of the most loved films of all time, Fantasia. And don't forget his other friends he's introduced us to along the way, such as his girlfriend Minnie Mouse, pet dog Pluto, Donald Duck and Goofy, just to name a few. Also celebrating their 90th birthday is Kellogg's Rice Krispies, the breakfast cereal which gave Jonathan Ross his TV debut in an advert in 1970 when he was just 10, first came to Britain with its Snap, Crackle and Pop in November 1928 from America, although the three characters first appeared in 1932. And one other special birthday, the first programme of the Sci-Fi series, Doctor Who, was broadcast by the BBC on November 23rd, 1963. The adventurous Time Lord was played by William Hartnell. What fond memories. A Thought by Robert Louis Stevenson. Marriage is one long conversation checkered by disputes. This week in history. Worldwide events from November the 21st to 27th. November 21st, 1905. The first Australian Open Tennis Championship for men took place in Melbourne, Australia. It was won by Australian Rodney Heath. Originally a grass tournament, it was switched to hard courts in 1988, leaving Wimbledon the sole major grass court tournament. November 22nd, 1997. Australian rock star and frontman of In Excess, Michael Hutchence, was found dead in a hotel in Sydney, Australia. Hutchence was married to the television presenter Paula Yates. November 23rd, 1963. The first programme of the Sci-Fi series Doctor Who was broadcast by the BBC. The programme depicted the adventures of a Time Lord, played by William Hartnell, in a time-travelling spaceship called the TARDIS. The Doctor combated a variety of foes, including the Daleks, and there's a little picture of the Daleks here. An extraterrestrial race from the planet Scarrow, which were intent of ruling the universe. November 24th, 1974. A female skeleton of the hominin species was found by Donald Johnston and Tom Gray in Ethiopia. Named Lucy, the skeleton was around 3.2 million years old, the most ancient early human ever found. November 25th, 1487. Elizabeth of York, consort of King Henry VII, was crowned Queen at Westminster Abbey. Elizabeth, the daughter of Edward IV, was the first Tudor Queen. November 26, 1983. An armed gang carried out Britain's biggest robbery at London's Heathrow Airport. 6,800 gold bars and diamonds worth over 25 million were stolen from a warehouse just outside the airport. The robbers were dressed in security uniforms, overpowered the guards and forced them to reveal the alarm codes. November 27th, 1975. Guinness Book of Records co-founder and editor Ross McWhirter was shot dead outside his London home. Mr. McWhirter was an outspoken critic of the IRA.
This is Callum here, and this article is from the Crime Reporter, and it's about a man injured in street attack. Police are appealing for information after a man was attacked and robbed in the Bishopbriggs Street. The 41-year-old suffered a head injury after the mugging in Angus Avenue around 12:10 a.m. on Tuesday, November the 13th. The thug is also believed to have vandalised a car earlier in nearby Hurley Hawkins. Officers said the victim had just got off a bus and was approaching the junction with Fintry Drive when a man shouted at him from behind, assaulted him and demanded he hand over his money and personal possessions. Although the victim was injured, he did not require medical treatment. The suspect then made off in the direction of Angus Avenue. He is described as white, in his 40s, with a gaunt appearance and light-coloured brown hair. He was wearing a green jacket, jeans, white trainers, a dark cap, possibly a flat cap. The man was also carrying a bottle of tonic wine. Officers are checking CCTV images for any additional information on the suspect. Detective Sergeant Robert Bowie said, "This man has been intent on causing trouble. He has vandalised a car and carried out an unprovoked attack on a man who was walking along a street. Anyone with any information should call Kirkintilloch Police on 101 or Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. This is Callum, and the following article is about junior football, with the headline, "Rabs need to convert draws into victories." It's an article by the sports reporter Ian McLean. Rob Roy boss Stuart Maxwell has admitted his side have missed a chance to force themselves into the upper reaches of the league table. Saturday's 1-1 draw at home to Troon was Rab's fourth league tie in a row. They currently sit just above the relegation zone, but had those 4 draws been wins, the extra 8 points would have put them joint third in the Premiership standings. Maxwell was particularly frustrated that Troon's stoppage-time equaliser on Saturday, scored by keeper Scott Johnson, came from his side's failure to keep the ball in the opposition half. He said, "We get the ball in the corner, but they broke up the park. There's a foul on our centre-back, but the referee decided to give them a free kick. The goalkeeper launches a flat ball into the box and we've got to defend that better." Rabs also missed a penalty at 1-0 up, which Maxwell believes would have put the game to bed. He said, "The penalty is the pivotal moment. If we score that, we win the game. There's no doubt in my mind. We've only lost once in the last 8 or 9 games, and that was in the Scottish Cup. But there's been a lot of draws in there. We've had an opportunity to propel ourselves into relative safety. We're not in relegation trouble, but we could have stretched ourselves away, and we've not done that. the Saturday Rabs are away to Cumnock. And the article is accompanied by a photograph of a goal line stramash with the goalkeeper punching the ball away from a Troon attacker.
Some junior football now. Rabs hit by sucker punch as keeper scores equaliser. The scores were Rob Roy 1, Troon 1. An injury time strike by the Troon goalkeeper Scott Johnson denied Rob Roy victory at Guy's Meadow on Saturday, and that's a report by Neil Anderson. It was Rab's fourth league draw in a row, and they will look upon it as 2 points dropped after being hit by a 92nd minute sucker punch. The Hope side began with an early chance, but Lee Gallagher's effort lacked power and failed to trouble Johnson. Rob Roy keeper John Hutchison was called into action to save from Daniel Mackay before, at the other end, Dylan Young's cross set up Gary Carroll, whose effort was deflected over. But there was a real let-off for the Rabs in the 13th minute when Scott Chatham cross found Christian Nad free in the box, but he blazed over. The Roy's good fortune continued a minute later when, from a Michael Daly clearance, Troon's Stephen McCready headed the ball past Johnson into his own net. The Seasiders were dangerous on the break, and Dean Keenan fired wide when in a good goal-scoring position. Rabs thought they had increased their lead in the 25th minute, but Carroll's header from a Martin McBride cross was ruled offside. Troon then nearly repeated their own goal exploits, but this time Johnson managed to palm Keenan's header over the bar. On the half-hour mark, Nad turned well in the box to bring out a great blocking save from Hutchison before blasting the rebound well over the bar. But most of the pressure came from Rob Roy. McBride's free kick was blocked for a corner. Jordan Curry McLean headed wide from a Gallagher cross. A Graham Ramage volley just cleared the bar, and a Carroll header scraped the post. Just before the break, Curry McLean's effort was blocked for a corner, and Gallagher's cross flashed across the Troon goalmouth without finding any takers. 3 minutes into the second half, Carroll's challenge on the Troon defence saw the ball break to Gallagher, and his chipped effort over Johnson drifted wide. At the other end, Ryan Stevenson's free kick from distance sailed over the bar, and then Daly's headed clearance kept Troon out. Gallagher had a snapshot brilliantly parried wide by Johnson before Rabs had a great chance to double their lead from the penalty spot after Carroll was upended. Carroll took the ward himself, only for Johnson to save the spot kick with his feet. Troon pushed for an equaliser, and two Nad headers were deflected past before Keenan, 25-yard free kick, just cleared the bar. Hutchison, dealing well with everything thrown at him, then kept out a free kick from McCready after Ramage had been penalised. In the closing minutes, the Roy were defending deeply, and Nad again missed a golden chance to equalise, heading over the bar when in front of goal. But in the second minute of added time, with Troon throwing everything up front, they were awarded a free kick. Johnson took it, and it hit Keena's foot, deceived Hutchison, and landed in the net for a dramatic leveller. And there's a couple of pictures showing the Rob Roy and Troon's players.
Junior football. Rosevale drew blank in stalemate with rivals Arthurlie. Rosevale 0, Arthurlie 0. Rosevale had to be content with their share of the spoils from a goalless stalemate with fourth-placed Arthurlie at Hunters Hill on Saturday, reports Andy Sandilands. There was a feeling right from the start that there weren't going to be many goals, and that both teams possibly would settle for a draw. Vale were unlucky early on when man of the match David Ledbetter burst down the left and fired over an inch-perfect pass, only to see McGonigal have the ball taken off his toe as he was about to shoot. 2 minutes later, Kirk Forbes drove forward and found Andy Johnston, whose excellent cross was headed narrowly past by McGonigal. Arthurlie's best effort of the first half came in the 35th minute, Andy Borrowman blasting over after Del McNabb beat the offside trap to lay on an excellent chance. Both teams were blocking each other out, but early in the second half the Vale put an excellent attack together when Chris Zock brought the ball down and found Forbes, who picked out Gary Giffin, but the keeper managed to keep his effort out. Vale were getting more of the ball, allowing Matt Niven to break upfield from the full-back position. But after a lovely 1-2 with Griffin, his shot went narrowly wide. Next it was Arthur Lee's turn again, and when Reid fired a cross into the box, Donnelly was beaten, but a defender managed to clear off the line. The game was going from end to end, and Johnston headed a Giffin free kick down to Hunter, but again the final shot was weak. A Ledbetter cross then found Zock with only the keeper to beat, but the ball got stuck between his feet and another great chance went past. Within 15 minutes to go, McGonigal tried his luck from about 30 yards out, which must have stung the keeper's hands, as did a Giffin effort a minute later. 5 minutes from time, lies Connor Bradley saw a straight red when his elbow seemed to connect with McGonigal, but Vale couldn't take advantage. Scottish test for Rosevale. It's Scottish Junior Cup time for Rosevale on Saturday, when they travel to Lanark United for a fourth-round tie. Championship side Vale will be favourites against a team who play 2 tiers below them, but Lanark, like Rosevale, have only lost 1 league game all season and are second top of the League 2 table. And Rosevale boss Gordon Moffat is not expecting anything other than a difficult encounter. He said they'll play with confidence and are at home, so it will be a tough game for us. But it's one we will go and try to win, and we're looking forward to it. It's a big deal for a club like us to get into the latter stages of the Scottish. And that's all the reading from the D team this week. We hope you've enjoyed the reading and enjoyed listening to 2 new voices that joined us this week, Callum and Grace, and we hope you'll be able to hear them again in future. So, in the meantime, until we read you again it'll be actually after Christmas, just realising that. We will not be reading, the D team won't be reading to you until January, so we hope you have a very happy Christmas and a happy New Year, and we look forward to reading to you again in 2019.